सबसे बड़ी मोहब्बत है माँ, कुदरत भी हमारी माँ है, जो हमें जीने की राह देती है। वतन परस्ती वो माँ है, जो जिंदगी को सही मुकाम देती है। ये सबसे बड़ी दौलत है। जन्नत नासिर है माँ, रहमत की तस्वीर है माँ, जन्नत नासिर है माँ, रहमत की तस्वीर है माँ। हम सब एक ख्वाब है जिंदगी के, जिसकी ताबीर है माँ। माँ मेरी माँ, प्यारी माँ, हो माँ मेरी माँ, प्यारी माँ। जिंदगी के मुश्किल राहों में मशाल राह है माँ, जिंदगी के मुश्किल राहों में मशाल राह है माँ। छुपा लेती है वो जख्म को मरहम जैसे, हर दर्द की दवा है माँ। ओ माँ मेरी माँ, प्यारी माँ, ओ माँ मेरी माँ, प्यारी माँ। Thank you.
So thank you, Kirtana. That is really beautiful, and thank you very much for your time, and thank you, sir. So today, again, a great session for us. So let me welcome, without any delay, Dr. Darshan Singh Chauhan, Treasurer, PACE India, for the welcome session. Sir, please.
Good noon, everyone. मैं डॉक्टर दशरथ सिंह चौहान पेस इंडिया की ओर से आज हमारे सभी गेस्ट, सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स, प्रिंसिपल फ्रेंड्स, पेस इंडिया मेंबर्स, सभी का वेलकम करते हुए आज के हमारे विनोद स्पीकर, हमारे मुख्य वक्ता प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर मदन मोहन सर का हृदय से वेलकम करता हूं। आपके उम्मीद करता हूं कि आज आपके सारगर्भित, ज्ञानवर्धक और उपयोगी मार्गदर्शन में आपकी नॉलेज का सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को, हम सभी को लाभ मिलेगा। सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स जो नेक एक्रेडिटेशन के लिए इस नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में जुड़े हुए हैं। हम आधा पड़ाव पार कर चुके हैं, बाकी दिनों के लिए मेरी शुभकामनाएं। मैं प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर गंगाधर सर से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि वे हमारे आज के जो मुख्य अतिथि हैं प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर मदन मोहन सर, उनके बारे में विस्तार से हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स को, हम लोगों को अवगत कराएं। धन्यवाद। आप सभी का दिन शुभ हो।
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So now let me invite Dr. Gangadhar K.S. Joint Secretary, PACE India, for introducing the session. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon and very warm welcome to one and all the present over here. I am Dr. Gangadhar, Joint Secretary, PACE India. I feel proud to introduce one of the resource person of today's session, the most prestigious Dr. Madan Mohan. Sir, he has completed BTech CSIT and has secured distinction in ME CSC. He has been awarded PhD degree. Presently is worked as a professor of information technology CBIT Hyderabad, Telangana. He was having 8 years of research experience, and his area of specialization are information retrieval, machine learning, data science, deep learning, and computational intelligence. He had several organizations in the several organization members, International Society for Research and Development London, and the International Association of Engineering Hong Kong, and respectively Telecommunication, Indian Society for Technical Education. As in the several member, he is working as a member, and he has guided for 17 doctoral degrees, and particularly National Program on Technology Enhancing Learning. In single point of contact, has awarded for 6 times, and simultaneously Uttam Acharya Puraskar 2019, most promising educator in higher education across India for the year 2019. Tech savvy academicians on in higher education across India for the year 2019. Young professor of the year 2018 has got awarded, and Sir has published 14 international 14 papers in international journals, 8 papers in national conferences, 10 papers in international conferences. His projects were carried out in the national level, international level, and IPRS level, and he has written 3 textbooks and 2 book chapters of different subjects, and he is a very great personality in the field of science and technology. We are very happy to welcome you, sir. Today's you are auspicious and the great eminent personality for deliberating the NAC regarding the teaching, learning, and evaluation component criteria 2. So I am heartily welcome. I am grateful to introduce you to sir, and almost I am on behalf of PACE, I am welcoming you, sir. Thank you. Over to Dr. Balaravi, madam.
Thank you, Gangadhar sir. Thank you very much for your words. And now, definitely, as our Gangadhar ji beautifully he has explained about the greatness of our today's resource person. So we are really blessed and fortunate to have Dr. Madana Mohana, Professor Information Technology, CBIT Hyderabad from Telangana, for explaining to us the criteria 2, that is teaching, learning, and evaluation. We know everybody is anxiously waiting for his presentation. So without any delay, I welcome with, yes, our Professor Madana Mohana, sir, to this beautiful session. Please welcome, sir. Welcome, sir, for this session.
Yeah, thank you, madam. First of all, thanks to the organizers for inviting me. So let me share my screen. So now I am using my microphone. So I can't hear your voice because of, to increase my volume, I am using my microphone. If anything, you can post in the chat box. So even queries also at the end of the session, I will address. If it is okay, sir, I will continue like this.
Okay, no problem, no issue. Please.
Okay.
Can anyone confirm whether my screen is visible?
Visible, sir, it's visible.
You can text me, so I won't hear your voice. Yeah, okay, thank you. Welcome to you all for the prestigious national level workshop on NAC accreditation process for colleges of education, organized by Principals Association of Colleges Education, Thrissur, Kerala. So till now, 7 days, this workshop were already finished. So everyone already aware of, so what is NAC, what is the process, etc. And you already heard many criteria. So entire of NAC process, there are 7 criteria. So out of 7, criteria 2, which is more important and also having highest weightage. So the criteria 2 named as teaching, learning and evaluation. Our day-to-day life during our academic activities, whatever the activities we are doing for student-centric. So all the activities related to our teaching, learning and how that can be evaluated or included in this criteria. So actually I have collected the information, especially for the manual related to teacher education institutions. This manual was updated on 16th June 2022. It's the latest manual. So criteria 2 mainly consisting of 2 types of matrices. Every criteria, the matrices are divided into 2 types. One is quantitative metric, another one is qualitative metric. All the quantitative metrics can be evaluated through online by DVV process, data validation and verification. Remaining all qualitative metrics that can be evaluated through NAC peer team visit. So they will visit to our campus physically, they will verify and they will assess during interaction of various bodies. So entire of NAC process, out of 1000 points, 70% will be evaluated by DVV through online. All are quantitative metrics. Remaining 30% matrices are qualitative matrices. Those are evaluated during the NAC peer team visit to the campus. So as for criteria 2, the total weightage is 360 points. So these 360 points are divided into according to quantitative metrics and qualitative metrics. So quantitative metrics total 28 matrices are there. So their weightage is 254. Whereas qualitative matrices 13 are there. Their weightage is 106. By combining these two, total 254 plus 106, 360 is the total weightage of criteria 2. Then the total matrices together, quantitative and qualitative, are 28 plus 31, total 41 matrices are there. Here I am going to explain qualitative metric wise the questions, then what type of data we have to upload and we have to collect. Then later quantitative metric wise, so what is the data template format and what are the requirements. Then as for standard operating procedures, do's, don'ts, all the quantitative metrics. So standard operating procedure provided by NAC only for quantitative metrics. For qualitative metrics, these are just write-ups. So maximum 500 words write-up we have to provide, like our long answer questions. Whereas quantitative metrics are statistical related, tabular formats. So let us see one by one. So before that, here see the distribution of weightages across the criteria with key indicators. So the criteria to teaching, learning and evaluation, total 360 marks are there. So here criteria 2 divided into 7 key indicators. The first one is 2.1, student enrollment and profile. Second one, honoring student diversity. Third one, teaching learning process. Fourth one, competency and skill development. Fifth one, teacher profile and quality. Sixth one, evaluation process. Then, this is seventh one, student performance and learning outcomes. Then finally, student satisfaction survey. So each key indicators again contains the number of sub questions which are called as matrices. So 2.1, 3 matrices with weightage 15. 2.2, 4 matrices with 30 weightage. 2.3, 7 matrices with 70 weightage. Then 2.4, 13 matrices with 100 weightage. Then 2.5, 4 matrices with 30 weightage. Then 2.6, 4 matrices with 25 weightage. Then 2.7, student performance learning outcome. 5 matrices with 40 weightage. Then finally, student satisfaction survey, only 1 metric, 50 weightage. So all together, the number of matrices are 41. Then the total weightage is 360. This is the distribution. Here, another important point we have to remember, the metric last one, student satisfaction survey. So this is evaluated by directly NAC, not from the DVB. So here, as per this template, we have to upload the current students who are on roll from first year to final year. We have to submit the data as per the template given by the NAC in the Excel format. Then NAC will pick randomly some of the students from the database, whatever we have provided. Then NAC will send the student satisfaction survey link to the directly to the students. So as a institute or any other parties, they won't see for whom they sent. So we have to communicate with our students whether you received any mail or communication from NAC regarding survey. So before that, you have to educate your students regarding this student satisfaction survey questionnaire, which is available on NAC website. All the questions are related to our teaching learning process only. So you can disseminate the questionnaire to all the faculty and students before you are applying to NAC. So based on that, whenever students receive mail from the NAC, they have to respond. Minimum 11% of students, whoever received mail from the NAC, they need to respond. Then only that metric will be qualified. So 2.7 can be evaluated directly from the student, remaining all based on qualitative instruction, then quantitative online DVB process. Now let us see first qualitative matrices. So in qualitative matrices, first here 2.2.1. See here criteria number is 2. So here the submetrics is starting with 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4 to 2.8. The first slide we have given 2.1 to 8. So the submetrics is also starting with that key indicator sub point wise. Now here this is 2.2 metric sub-indicator 2.2.1. So this is qualitative. Here the question is, see all the qualitative matrices, we have to provide the write-up with maximum of 500 votes only. Here no tabular data, so only write-up. And during qualitative metric, there are some options of uploading some documents. So there you need to upload any supporting documents. But all these qualitative metrics can be evaluated during NAC peer visit only, not DVB. Only quantitative metrics are evaluated by NAC DVB through online. So the first qualitative metric is 2.2.1. The question is, assessment process is in place at entry level to identify different learning needs of students and their levels of readiness to undergo professional education program and also academic support provided to students. So it contains 8 marks. Here, whenever students are entered into your institution after admission process is over, so then what is the assessment process is placed? So you have to identify different learning needs of the students and their levels, whether they are ready or not, whether you have to conduct some professional programs to bridge the gap between previous level to the higher education entry level. So generally, AICTE last 4 years onwards conducting 2 weeks induction program for BE BTech students during their first year admission. conducting various extracurricular activities like some industry visits, yoga, meditation programs, sports activities, like that. So first 2 weeks, they won't teach the regular syllabus, only the general activities. So here for this, so you need to upload the following things. Documentary evidence in support of the claim. Here, whatever the activities you are showcasing to meet this metric, you need to provide a document, supporting documents. Then also the document showing the performance of students at the entry level. So how you are assessing the performance of the students at the entry level, whatever the criteria you adapted. So for that supporting document, in addition to any other relevant information. So all these documents you need to upload whenever you are filling the NAC self-study report. So in the portal, NAC portal itself, online only you have to fill. So another important point in the entire of NAC process, whenever you are preparing any document, that document should be attested by the head of the institution. If it is college level, principal. If it is department level, HOD. Along with the HOD or principal seal is mandatory. And also you can't use the scanned copy of any signature seals. Everything you need to take print out, then you have to stamp it, then you can scan the document. Then you can convert into hard copy. So then all these supporting documents, either quantitative or qualitative metrics, you have to upload only in your college website. Then that college website link you have to provide in the NAC HEI portal. So from the Google Drive or from other sources, it won't accept. That is strictly instruction given by the NAC. That's why any document, first we have to take the consent and signatures along with their seal, then you have to scan it, then you have to upload in the college website by creating one menu, NAC or tab. In that metric wise, you can create sub tabs. So there you can upload, then that link you can provide. Why? Because in the portal also, it takes maximum of 5 MB size only each file. If it exceeds 5 MB, compulsory you have to upload in the college website, and that link you have to provide here, like that. The similar thing you have to maintain for all the matrices, qualitative as well as quantitative. So that is the 2.2.1. Then coming to next qualitative metric 2.3.1, this is related to multiple mode approach to teaching learning. Is adapted by teachers, which includes experiential learning, participative learning, problem solving methodologies, brainstorming, focused group discussion, online mode, etc. for enhancing student learning. So whatever the course you are teaching as a faculty, based on your subject, whether it is theoretical, whether it is problematic, whether it is experiment related, whether it is project based learning, etc. So based on your course, so you can try to adopt some teaching learning methodologies. So if it is practical related experience learning through practicals, or project learning, or industry internships, or industry visits, etc. Then participative learning, so involving students, then problem solving methodologies, providing some problems, case studies, then brainstorming sessions, then conducting group discussions, then some online modes, so which are useful for enhancing student learning. So subject wise, you need to adapt some of the methodologies, each one at least try to include some of the methodologies, then you have to provide the proofs for all these. So here, what are the details required? Course wise details of modes of teaching learning. Course wise, just now I mentioned subject wise. Adapted during last completed academic year in each program. So if it is UG, PG, here NAC is institutional level. All programs you have to consider UG, PG, so diploma, whatever in your institution, whatever the programs, all programs you have to consider. So then course wise, program wise, you can provide the details, mode of teaching learning. Any other supporting documents. I mean, here you can provide link from the college website, etc. Like all you can provide. So it contains 10 points here, 10 marks. The next qualitative metric is 2.3.5. So continual mentoring is provided by teachers for developing professional attributes in student. This is related to student mentoring by the teacher, mentor, mentee. So its weightage is 8. So here, the nature of mentoring efforts in the institution with respect to, they have given the following factors. First, working in teams, then dealing with the student diversity, various student categories coming from various backgrounds, then conduct of self with colleagues and authorities, balancing home and work stress, whereas academic and personal, both you need to balance. Then keeping oneself abreast with recent developments in education and life. With respect to all these aspects, we have to counsel, mentor, monitor the students. For every faculty, so some of the students are assigned as mentees, like 20 to 30, based on the faculty class strength. For all these, so you need to provide documentary evidence in support of the claim. So whatever the activities you are counseling, so for all you need to provide the supporting documents, any other relevant information. Then 2.3.7 here, teaching learning process nurtures creativity, innovativeness, intellectual and thinking skills, empathy, life skills, etc. among the students. These are all related to some innovation, intellectual, personality development, human values, professional ethics, like etc. All this. So you have to describe at least 2 cases in each showcasing how this is attempted by teachers along with its impact on students. So whatever the approach you adopted, so then how the students habituated to this, the impact on students. So here, see, highest marks are there for this. Among the all qualitative metrics, this metric contains 16 marks. So whatever the activity you are showcasing, at least 2 case studies we have to provide here. Documentary evidence in support of the claim, whatever you are showing. Then any other relevant information. Then 2.4.8, this is related to internship program, which is systematically planned with necessary preparedness. So organizing internship programs with respect to the following, they have given 6 parameters with respect to any one of these. So you can organize internships. Its weightage is 8. The first one is selection or identification of schools for internship, participative or on request. Then orientation to school principal or teachers, orientation to students going for internship, defining role of teachers of the institution, streamlining modes of assessment of student performance, exposure to variety of school setups. So in these areas, you can organize internship programs. For all these, so any activity you are conducting, not only internship, first what you have to do, you can prepare one circular that can be released from the head of the institution, if it is institute level, or a HOD level, if it is a department level. Then you can circulate among all the students and faculty, whoever the participants. Then what you have to do, that circular you can keep in that file. Then any brochure or invitation you can circulate among the groups or notice boards or college website. Then keep one copy of that brochure or invitation also in that file. Then whenever activity taken place, one banner is required, banner. So showing that activity date, you can take the photograph of that banner. Then whenever all participants attended to that activity, it is in the classroom or auditorium or seminar hall or outside. So you can take the photos showing dais view and audience view along with the geotag. See, everything you have to take in the form of geotagging photos, otherwise they won't consider. Then once all these are over, then you can take participants attendance with signatures, handwritten. They won't consider it digital. So you can prepare one empty template, name of the activity, dash dash, date. Then you can fill it manually by handwriting. Then get signatures from all the participants, from the students or faculty, whatever. Then you can prepare one feedback form, one page format. You can, by providing some questions on this activity or any activity, collect the feedback from the participants. Then you have to analyze then the suggestions given by the participants. Then feedback analysis, then assessment, then action taken or continuous improvement, like that. So any activity in the entire of NAC process, you can follow the similar checklist. So then everything will be a full-fledged documented. Then you will get a good score also whenever you can upload all these documents. Anyway, during uploading, they will ask specifically randomly some sample certificate, sample photograph, sample student participants or faculty participants, attendance sheets. So everything is counted here. That's why you can keep maintaining all these records. So for all this also, you can maintain documentary evidences, whatever the claim you are supporting. Then next one, 4.11. It carries 8 points. Institution adopts effective monitoring mechanism during internship program. So you are offering internship program, then how to monitor effectively? What is the mechanism? So that you have to define one policy document, then you have to adhere according to the document. Then you have to monitor continuously. So the monitoring mechanism adapted to ensure optimal impact of internship in schools with a specific reference to the role of teacher educators, school principal, school teachers, and peers. Peers are the reviewers. So the supporting documents you need to upload for this claim. And 2.5.4, so it contains 6 points. Teachers put forth efforts to keep themselves updated professionally. So as a faculty, we have to update ourselves with the latest market trends or technologies. The nature of efforts by teachers to keep themselves updated professionally with respect to in-house discussions on current developments and issues in education system. Share information with colleagues and other institutions on policies and regulations. For this supporting documents, we have to provide. Then any other relevant information you can provide. Then coming to 2.6.1, this is related to continuous internal evaluation of student learning is in place in the institution. It carries 5 points. The continuous internal evaluation in the institution, highlighting its major components. So your UC program is there, PG program is there. So as per university or autonomous college, or if you are affiliating college, then you have to follow university norms. So what is the internal evaluation distribution? Then what is the external evaluation? For a theory as well as practical, you can highlight the components, the distribution of the marks for internal, how many class tests are there, how many midterm sets are there, how many assignments are there. So whatever the patterns, so all you can highlight as per the academic calendar, then internal examination timetables, evaluation guidelines, everything as per our regulations, you can showcase and highlight. So the relevant documents related to internal evaluation system at the institution level with the seal and signature of the principal. The document, so by getting signature from the principal and you can seal it, scan the document that you can upload here. If it is more than 5 MB, you can upload in the college website, then provide the link here. Any other relevant information. Then next metric 2.6.3, mechanism for grievance redressal. This grievance redressal is related to examinations. Examinations is operationally effective or not. Any complaints received from the students regarding internal marks, any other issues, so those can be addressed through the grievance redressal committee. So here relevant documents reflecting the transparency and efficiency related to examination grievances with seal and signature of the principal. These documents needs to be attached. Any other relevant information you can provide. Then 2.6.4, the institution, whether you are following the academic calendar for conduct of internal examination. Once the academic year started before 1 week, so every institution or university will release the academic calendar semester wise. So when the semester works, the classwork duration, the first class test, then the second class test, like that. So based on that, as per the calendar, whether we are adhering, we are following or not. For these 5 marks are there. Here you need to upload academic calendar of the institution with the seal and signature of the principal. Any other supporting documents you can. And 2.7.1, which carries 10 points. This is very important. This is related to teaching learning process of the institution, which can be aligned with the stated PLOs and CLOs. Here PLO stands for program learning outcomes and CLO stands for course learning outcomes. So for every program, here you need to clearly understand what is program, what is course. So generally, in our regular terminology, we will call it as the department. So department means suppose any one department. In that department, many programs are there. Programs means UC is one program, PG is one program. UC you are having different specializations. UC program 1 to N. PG you are having different specialization. PG program 1 to N. But UC PG both are related to your department. So here for every program, all UC programs separate learning outcomes. Then all UC program separate learning outcomes. As for the NAC manual, so at the end of the manual in the annexer, they have provided for sample program learning outcomes for teachers education. So that commonly you can adapt, but program to program, you can introduce some specific outcomes, program specific learning outcomes, 2 to 3. So those are all varies from program to program, but program learning outcomes commonly we have to follow as per the NAC and NBA accreditation bodies, whatever the outcomes provided. Okay, now every program, whether it is UG or PG, then what the program contains? Courses. Generally, we are calling it as curriculum subject. That subject, now we'll call it as course. Every course from first year to final year, including practical, including non-credit courses, including general course also. For every course, learning outcomes needs to be defined. Some universities already in the curriculum itself, they have provided course learning outcomes. So if the university not provided, then you have to define course learning outcomes. These course learning outcomes are a subdomain, subset of program learning outcomes only. So first we have to define course learning outcomes, then you have to map every course learning outcome with the program level outcome. Then once mapping is done, then you have to do the assessment or attainment of the course learning outcomes of each and every course after completion of the course. Then once individual course outcomes are attained, then you can do the attainment of program learning outcomes. Again, the attainment is a big process. Okay. So here describe the way in which institution ensures alignment of stated program learning outcomes and course learning outcomes with the teaching learning process. Here, documentary evidence in support of the claim you need to provide. Any other supporting document. Then 2.7.3, here the progressive performance of students and attainment of professional and personal attributes in line with the program learning outcomes and course learning outcomes is monitored and used for further improvements. So here, what is the process? Previously, listing all the program learning outcomes, course learning outcomes. Then you have to performance of the attainment of all this in alignment with program learning outcomes and course learning outcomes, which carries 9 points. Here, describe the manner in which progress in student performance on learning tasks is recorded in the transcript in respect to both cognitive and professional attributes. So here, document evidence shows the performance of students on various internal assessment tasks and the learning outcomes achieved. Then 2.7.5, which carries 6 points, performance of students on various assessment tasks reflects how far their initially identified learning needs are catered to. So in the first qualitative metric, again at the entry level, so identifying the student learning levels. So here after joining, during the assessment, during the period of study, so performance of the students on various assessment tasks, which reflects how far their initially identified learning needs are catered to. Here I have to describe some examples with the extent to which the assessment task and the performance of students reflect initially identified learning needs. For this also supporting documents we need to provide. So these are all about the qualitative metrics. So all these qualitative metrics are evaluated by the NAC during visit to the campus. The remaining all the metrics are called as quantitative metrics. Those can be evaluated through online by the process of DVV, data validation and verification. Now we'll see what are the quantitative metrics. Every quantitative metric, it contains one data template Excel format. Then there are some standard operating procedures. What documents needs to be collected, specific instructions to the institution. Then what are the things we have to avoid or not included. as per standard operating procedure. All are included metric wise at one place. Let us see one by one. So the first quantitative metric is 2.1.1, which carries 7 points. Average enrollment percentage of students during last 5 years. Last 5 years, student admission details, actual admitted student details we have to provide. Suppose, so last 5 years means now we are in 2021-22 end, almost ended. Now some institutions started 22-23 due to pandemic, the academic year extended. So now you are in 22-23. Last 5 years means 2021-22, 2020-21, 2019-20, 2018-19, 2017-18. So 2017-18 to 2021-22. These 5 years. So a program wise, all the UG, all the PG, along with their program code, number of seats sanctioned as per the university or UGs or AICT, number of students enrolled. This is Excel template actually. Here I have copied all these data templates from the Excel only. The NAC, these templates are available. Finally, I will show where you can download all this. Okay, now this is the template. Data carefully you have to fill. Then as for standard operating procedure for DVV, what are the documents required? Document relating to sanction of intake from the university, like approval letters, affiliation letters from UGC, AICT, affiliating university, whatever the regulatory bodies. Then approval letter from NCT for intake for all the programs. Then approved admission list year-wise, program-wise. So these documents you need to collect. Then there are some specific instructions to higher education institutions. Sanction admission strength in each program-wise. UG 1, 2, 3, 4, then PG 1, 2, 3, 4, like program-wise, sanction admission strength you need to provide. Then 2.1.2, percentage of seats filled against a reservation category, like SC, ST, OBC, as per applicable reservation policy related to your state. So this also last 5 years data you have to collect, each carries 6 points. The data template format is program name. So year, like year wise, number of seats reserved as per the government of India or state government rule. You have to attach the GO also, category wise, number of seats, then number of students enrolled against each category, then total number of students enrolled. In this template, you need to collect. Here, what are the documents required? First, a copy of letter issued by the state government or central government indicating the reserved categories, provided in the English version only, not in the local language. Final admission list published by the higher education institution, whatever the final admission. Then admission extract submitted to the state or university authority about admissions category wise, students every year. Then some specific instructions needs to followed by the institution, include only those reserved categories as specified by state or central government. Only those seats filled against the quota should be counted here. Then 2.1.3, percentage of students enrolled from EWS. So this was introduced recently. EWS and Divangan, that is physically challenged categories, last 5 years, which carries 2 points. The data template is here also year-wise, number of students enrolled, EWS, Divangan, total, then total number of students enrolled. Here, what are the documents required for this, for DVB? Certificates of EWS and Divangan. So their reservation certificate. The list of students enrolled from EWS and Divangan. You need to provide all these details. Then 2.2.2, which carries 8 points. This is related to mechanisms are in place to honor student diversities in terms of their learning needs. Student diversities are addressed on the basis of the learner profiles identified by the institution through the following. The first one is mentoring and academic counseling, peer feedback and tutoring, remedial learning engagement, learning enhancement and enrichment inputs, collaborative tasks, assistive devices and adaptive structure for Divangan, then multilingual interactions and inputs. So 7 parameters are given. So as for your institution, whichever applicable, whichever you are having, whichever you are following, those you can include. Here they mentioned in the question itself, indicate the ones applicable. So if you can having more, so there is scope for getting more marks. So now the same data you can fill in the template given below. So activity wise, so 1 to 7 you can provide whatever the activities you are following or you are having. Then name of the students. See, student names also you have to provide. Nature of the activity, dates along with the duration. Then faculty involved, link to the relevant document. For every activity, the supporting document link you can provide. That link is from Kala website only. Don't provide any Google Drive or any third-party links. Only whatever the data related to this activity you can upload in our Kala website. Then you can provide that link here. This is Excel template actually. In the Excel, one row, only one link you can provide for this activity. All the activities related to this category one, you can match and make it a single PDF that you can upload in our Kala website. You can provide that link, like second link, third activity, and so on, 7 activities. Whichever the activities you are having, you can include only those. Activity wise, all the students, nature of activity, date and duration, faculty involved, then a link you can provide. What the link contains, invitation, brochure, participants, signature, some photographs, etc. All needs to be provided. So then for this, what are the standard operating procedures, documents required? So here are relevant documents highlighting the activities to address the student diversities, the above 7 categories. See, reports with seal and signature of the principal, the activity report. So with the write-up followed by some photographs, every photograph contains caption and date. Then every document you have to put seal and signature of the principal. Photographs with the caption and date. Then next metric 2.2.3, so which carries 8 points. This is related to, there are institutional provisions for catering to different student needs. Appropriate learning exposures are provided to students, the following areas. So no special effort put forth in accordance with the learner's needs, only when students seek support as an institutionalized activity in accordance with the learner's needs. Then left to the judgment of the individual teachers whenever need arises due to student diversity. So these 5 parameters are given, which are applicable to your institution, you can select. Then for this, what are the documents required? Relevant document highlighting the activities to address the differential student needs, then reports with seal and signature of the principal, photographs with caption and date. I already mentioned starting, so any activity report is required, photographs are required, then every report, seal and signature of the head of the institution is mandatory. Then 2.2.4, it is related to student mentor ratio. For the last completed academic year, last completed means latest, 2021-22 is the latest completed. Suppose still you are in 2021-22, then we can consider 2020-21. So if you are submitting your application immediately, let us assume, so you are still in the end of 21-22, then you can consider 2021 as latest completed year. So student mentor ratio, in the following data template, you have to provide serial number, name of the mentor, faculty. So name of the mentees, the students followed by roll numbers, program and year of study. So all the UG program, PG programs year wise. So for this, the standard operating procedure, first documents required. Relevant document of mentor-mentee activities with seal and signature of the principal. Then specific instructions you need to follow. Only full-time teacher can be considered as mentor. So in the NAC, full-time teacher means at least 90% of the workload needs to be engaged in an academic year as per the prescribed calendar, then that will be considered as full-time teacher. Whether it is a regular contract, that is secondary. So based on the working hours, working days in an academic year. Next metric is 2.3.2. This is related to percentage of teachers integrating ICT, information and communication technology. So last 2 years, due to pandemic, everyone adapting the online mode, that is actually ICT. So here in the ICT, you have to exclude the use of PPT, except PPT, any other ICT mechanisms for effective teaching with the learning management system, Swayam Prabha, e-learning research and any others during last 5 years, which carries 10 points. The data template is year wise, name of the teacher, faculty wise, then name of the program, that faculty handling for which program, either UG or PG, the name of the course, subject name, the name of the ICT resources used, the link to the relevant document or LMS, academic management system. That link you can provide. So here link to learning management system. You can include in the college website, that link you can provide here. Then not to be considered or you have to avoid. So only use of PowerPoint presentation, not to be included. If you can use only PowerPoint as ICT, that won't be considered here. Then 2.3.3, this is related to again ICT. Students are encouraged to use ICT support for their self-learning, like mobile-based learning, online materials, podcasts, virtual laboratories, learning apps, etc. for their learning, including on-field practice. For this, 10 points are there. The data template is here. Number of students using ICT support, name of the program, program-wise, the name of the course, then kinds of ICT support, then link to appropriate ICT resources. As for SOP here, the documents required. Program-wise, the list of students using ICT support, documentary evidence in support of the claim, then landing page of the gateway to the LMS user. So whatever the link you are providing, that will directly goes to the LMS site, wherever you added all this. Then 2.3.4, again, this is ICT related. ICT support is used by students in various learning situations. What are the situations? They have given some. First one, understanding theory courses, practice teaching, internships, out of classroom activities, biomechanical and kinesical activity, then field sports. So which carries 8 points. This is the data template, Excel format given by the NAC. So name of the program, total number of students, then you have to provide all these activities. First, understanding theory courses. These six activities are given. Activity wise, ICT support, number of students. So every activity, ICT support, number of students you have to provide. Then as for SOP, so what are the documents required? So lesson plan or activity plan or activity report to substantiate the use of ICT by students in various learning situations. So during a lesson plan, whenever you are preparing before commencement of the classwork, in the lesson plan, we can provide when these activities will be taken on which activity and which date. So you can provide a lesson plan or activity report. So to claim this one. Then see geotagged photographs wherever applicable, geotagged photographs. Then link of the resources used, you can provide the link. Then next one, 2.3.6, this is related to institution provides exposure to students about recent developments in the field of education through the following activities. So special lectures by experts, book reading and discussion on it, discussion on recent policies and regulations, teacher presented seminars for benefit of teachers and students, use of media for various aspects of education, discussions showcasing the linkages of various contexts of education from local to region to national to global. So this metric carries 8 marks. The data template is activity wise 1 to 6. Then duration with the dates, name of the expert or moderator or teacher, the nature of the student participation, like either individual or group or all students. You can mention like this. Then as for SOP, what are the documents required for this metric? First, documentary evidence in support of the selected responses, then report of the activities conducted related to recent development in education with videographic support, video also, wherever applicable. The next one, 2.4.1. So this is related to institution provides opportunities for developing competencies and skills in different functional areas through specially designed activities or experiences, which includes the following: organizing learning, lesson plan, developing teaching competencies, assessment of learning, technology use and integration, organizing field visits, means industrial visits, conducting outreach or out of classroom activities beyond class, community engagement, facilitating inclusive education, preparing individualized education plan, whichever applicable, whichever you are having. So which carries 10 points. Now what is the data template for this? The data templates as per these activities, nature of activities conducted activity wise, duration with dates, nature of teacher involvement, nature of student participation. Activity wise you can mention as per this template which are applicable to your institution. As for SOP, what are the documents required for this? Documentary evidence in support of the selected responses out of the above mentioned. For every activity you selected, reports of activities with videographic support wherever applicable. The next metric is 2.4.2. This is related to students go through a set of activities as preparatory to school-based practice teaching and internship. Pre-practice teaching or internship orientation or training encompasses certain significant skills and competences in the following areas: formulating learning objectives, content mapping, lesson planning or individualized education plan, which covered in the previous metric, identifying varied student abilities, dealing with student diversity in classrooms, visualizing differential learning activities according to student needs, addressing inclusiveness, assessing student learning, mobilizing relevant and varied learning resources, evolving ICT-based learning situations, explore to Braille or Indian languages or community engagement. Out of 11, which are applicable to you, you can select. This metric carries 10 points. Then these details needs to be filled in the data template given by the NAC Excel template. See 1 to 11, which are applicable to you, those one you can include. Activity wise, nature of activities, duration with dates, nature of teacher involvement, nature of student participation. Then as for standard operating procedure, what are the documents required for this metric? Reports and photographs or videos of the activities. Say I already mentioned starting attendance sheets of the workshops or activities with seal and signature of the principal. Documentary evidence in support of each selected activity. And then the next metric 2.4.3, competency of effective communication is developed in students through several activities such as first one, workshop sessions for effective communication, communication related all this. Then simulated sessions for practicing communication in different situations. Then participating in institutional activities as anchor, as dissectant or rapporteur, classroom teaching learning situations along with teacher and peer feedback, which are applicable, which are the activity you are following, that you can opt it, which carries 5 marks. The same details needs to be filled in the data template given by the NAC, activity-wise, the number of sessions, duration with dates, nature of teacher involvement, nature of student participation. Now, as for the standard operating procedure, what are the documents required for this metric? Details of the activities carried out during last completed academic year. So last completed means if it is 21-22 or 2021. So that only you can include here. Then 2.4.4, this is related to students are enabled to evaluate the following tools of assessment for learning suited to the kinds of learning engagement provided to the learners and to analyze as well as interpret response. The following 5 activities. Teacher made written tests essentially based on the subject content, observation modes for individual and group activities, performance test, oral assessment, rating scales. Which are applicable, you can opt, which carries 8 points. The same details needs to be filled in the given Excel template. Activity wise, nature, duration with dates, teacher involvement, student participation. As for standard operating procedure, see what are the documents required for this metric. Samples prepared by students for each indicated assessment tool. Documents showing the different activities for evaluating indicated assessment tools. Then 2.4.5 related to adequate skills are developed in students for effective use of ICT for teaching learning process in respect to the following. The first one, preparation of lesson plans. Second one, developing assessment tools for both online and offline learning. Third one, effective use of social media or learning apps or adaptive devices for learning. Identifying and selecting or developing online learning resources. Evolving learning sequence means learning activities for online as well as face-to-face situation. You can select which are applicable, which carries 8 marks. The documents required for SOP, samples prepared by students for each indicated assessment tool. Then the document showing the different activities for evaluating indicated assessment tool. Then 2.4.5, this is related to adequate skills are developed in students for effective use of ICT, teaching learning. So the same only, this is the data template. So you have to fill the required activities in this Excel format. Activity wise, nature, duration with the dates, teacher involvement and student involvement. Then for this also the documentary evidences as for SOP. Whatever the activities selected for that documentary evidences. Sample evidence showing the task carried out for each of the selected response. Then 2.4.6, this is related to student develop competency to organize academic, cultural, sports and community related events through the following: planning and scheduling activities related to academic, cultural and sports events in school, planning and execution of community related events, building teams and helping them to participate, involvement in preparatory arrangements, executing or conducting the event, which carries 8 points. You can choose which are applicable. The same details you have to fill in the data template Excel format: event, activity wise, nature of event, duration with dates, nature of teacher involvement, nature of student participation, the number of students, your count you have to mention. Here, this is the data template. As per standard operating procedure, what are the documents required? First, documentary evidence showing the activities carried out for each of the selected response. Reports of the events organized. Photograph with the caption and date wherever possible. Then 2.4.7, a variety of assessments given and assessed for theory courses through. So here, first one is library work, second one field exploration, third one hands-on activity, preparation for term paper, identifying and using different sources for study, 1 to 5. So whichever applicable you can select. 7 marks are there. So this is the template. Activity wise program, UG or PG. Whether it is name of the theory course, we have to mention, nature of assignment, number of assignments per course per semester, total number of assignments per semester for bachelor course, postgraduate course. This is the template. Then supporting documents required for this. As for SOP, samples of assessed assignments for theory courses of different programs. Sample assessed, corrected, evaluated assignments you can keep with you. Then next one is 2.4.9, which is related to average number of students attached to each school for internship during the last completed academic year, latest, which carries 5 points. The data template is name of the school with the address and contact details, names of internee allotted, and duration of internship with the dates. You can provide the details. So this is for latest completed academic year, latest year, 1 year enough. As for SOP, what are the documents required? Copy of the schedule of work of internees in each school, plan of teacher engagement in school internship, and specific instructions. During DVV, internship schools may be approached for verification. During the DVV process, they will approach internship schools for verification whether really you are doing or not. So then next metric is 2.4.10. This is related to nature of internee engagement during internships. Consists of the following: classroom teaching, mentoring, timetable preparation, student counseling, PTA meetings, assessment of student learning, home assignments and tests, organizing academic and cultural events, maintaining documents, administrative responsibilities, experience, exposure, preparation of progress reports. So the internship activities, which are the activities you are incorporating, you can select which are applicable. It carries 8 marks. The same can be filled in the data template given by the NAC. So activity wise details, subjects, classes, number of periods per week, school wise, school 1 to school year, what are the schools you are adopted. So activity wise, you can provide this data in the Excel format. Then as for SOP, the supporting documents required: sample copies of each of selected activity claimed. For every activity, sample copy. Then school-wise internship report, which shows student engagement in activities claim. Wherever the documents are in regional language, provide English translated version. So the next metric is 2.4.12. Performance of students during internship is assessed by the institution in terms of observations of different persons such as self, peers means fellow interns, teachers or school teachers, principal or a school principal, or BEd students or school students. So here schools to be treated as TEIs for PG programs as per the terminologies. So whichever applicable you can select it, which carries 7 points. As for SOP, so here no data template for this. As for SOP, the following documents required. Assessment criteria adapted by each of the selected person for bachelor and PG programs as applicable. Then 2 filled in sample observation formats, minimum 2 for each of the claimed cell needs to be attached. So the next one, 2.4.30, comprehensive appraisal of interns' performance is in place. The criteria used for assessment include effectiveness in classroom teaching, competency acquired in evaluation process in schools, involvement in various activities of schools, regularity, initiative, and commitment. Finally, extent of job readiness, whichever applicable you can select. This metric carries 8 marks. The documents required for SOP, format of criteria and weightages for interns performance appraisal, 5 filled in formats, at least 5 filled in formats for each of the aspects claimed you have to provide. Then 2.5.1, this is related to faculty. Percentage of full-time teachers again is sanctioned post during the last 5 years, which carries 9 marks. As per the template, last 5 years, year-wise, the sanctioned post, then how many actual faculty are there? As per this template, you can provide year, name of the full-time teacher, PON number is required, designation, highest qualification, experience in the institution from 2, starting to till, total experience, total teaching experience in years. So your experience in the institution, in the same institution, you can provide from 2. So this is the data template. As per SOP, the documents required. Sanction letters indicating the number of posts, including management sanction post with the seal and signature of the principal. Then English translation of sanction letter if it is in regional language. Specific instructions. During the process, some appointment letters of selected faculty may be asked. So at that time, whatever the faculty list you are providing, every faculty needs to be provide or maintain appointment letter, joining letter, all the education certificates. So during DV verification, they will ask some selected, randomly selected faculty appointment letter. Any year they will ask, even last 5th year also they will ask. So all you can keep with you readily. All full-time teachers, see, I already mentioned this point. All full-time teachers with at least 90% of prescribed workload should be counted as full-time teacher. 90% of the prescribed workload needs to be engaged. Then only that person will be treated as full-time teacher. Then continuation of the previous metric, percentage of full-time teachers with PhD degree during last 5 years. This metric carries 8 marks. The template is year of obtaining PhD, duration of teacher service in the institution, whether recognized as the research guide for PhD, then year of recognizing as research guide. So obtaining the year of obtaining PhD degree followed by all these details needs to be provided for PhD holders. As for SOP, the documents required, certificates of doctoral degree of the faculty, PhD degree certificate, that too OD, convocation is required. But sometimes notification provisional they won't consider. So you can keep collecting ODs. Then during DV process, PhD certificates of selected faculty may be asked. So they will ask some randomly, some picked faculty to upload so-and-so faculty's PhD certificates. The next metric is related to teaching experience. So 2.5.3, average teaching experience of full-time teachers for the latest completed academic year. So the same template, first template, faculty template, but only latest year you have to consider. So here total teaching experience in years, which carries 7 points. As for SOP, documents required, copy of the appointment letter of the full-time teachers. Every faculty, all the 5 years, whatever the list, all the appointment orders, keep with you. Then specific instructions. So see here, during DVB, experience certificate, appointment order of the selected faculty may be sought. So previous college experience or a particular faculty entire working experience in the same institution, then you can give one experience certificate. So also working in the institution from to till date like that. So experience certificate, appointment
मैंने
order,
नोरा को फोन किया था
you will ask some selected faculty.
मैंने किया था पहले
Then next metric 2.6.2.
पटियाला शहर
This
से
is related to mechanism of internal evaluation, which is transparent, robust, and time bound. So earlier qualitative, we have seen some grievances related to examination. So related to that one, internal evaluation, same. In the quantitative also this is there, but they have mentioned some points. Institution adopts the following in internal evaluation. Display of internal assessment marks before the term and examination. So you need to display the internal marks in the respective notice boards of the respective class, and you can distribute to all the students better. You can take signature also for the each and every student for all the subjects cumulative. Timely feedback on individual or group performance, provision of improvement opportunities, access to tutorial or remedial support, provision of answering bilingually. Whichever applicable you can choose, which carries 8 points. As for SOP, what are the documents required? Copy of university regulation on internal evaluation for teacher evaluation. Annual institutional plan of action for internal evaluation. Details of provisions for improvement and bilingual answering. That is two languages, mother language as well as a national language, whichever following as per the university. Document evidence of remedial support provided. These are the documents required. Then next one, 2.7.2, this is related to student pass percentage during last 5 years. Last 5 years, students results units to provide as per the template provided. So the template contains year-wise, program code, program name, number of students appeared in the final year examination. They will consider only final year appeared students. The number of students passed in the final year. So only final year data units to consider. Then as per the SOP documents required, result sheet for each year received from the affiliating university. The result sheet you need to maintain. Then certified report from the head of the institution indicating pass percentage of students program wise. One certificate you have to provide the results statistics in the summary format. Then specific instruction needs to be followed. Only current final year, recent completed academic student data will be considered. But in the table, last 5 years data is required. For verification, they will consider latest completed year. Then not to be considered or you have to avoid results pertaining to students other than the final year, not to be submitted. So if you have provided first year or second year for UG, for PG only first year, so you provided, they won't consider only final year or final semester. Then 2.7.4, so this is related to performance of outgoing students in internal assessment. So semester wise, the internal assessment performance for outgoing students as per the courses category given in the following template. Theory courses, pedagogy course, elective or optional, school-based practice. Semester 1, greater than percentage, how many, less than 70%, how many, semester 2, and so on. For UG, 4 semesters, I mean, this is for PG, 1, 2, 3, 4. For UG, more semesters, you can create more columns here. So, which carries 7 points. Now, as for SOP, the documents required, record of student-wise, program-wise, semester-wise, internal assessment of students for last completed academic year. Then 2.8.1, this is the last metric, quantitative metric. So I already briefly mentioned about student satisfaction survey. This is the template actually. So this can be evaluated by NAC only directly from the students' feedback responses. Online student satisfaction survey regarding teaching learning process. So you have to fill the student satisfaction survey tab in the NAC portal login. So as per the template, you can provide the following data: name of the student, gender, category, state of domicile, nationality if other than Indian, email ID, program name, unique enrollment ID, mobile number, year of joining. See here, you need to provide all students on roll, first year to final year, need to be kept ready, which will help you to fill the student satisfaction survey. See, highest weightage is there, 50 points are there. So this is student satisfaction survey. So these are all total 28 quantitative metrics and 13 qualitative metrics are there. So these are the references, so you can refer. This is NAC official website. So nac.gov.in. So in the NAC, you can click on apply online. So there your manual is there. The title, Institutional Accreditation Manual for Teacher Education, updated on 16th June 2022. This is the latest manual. Directly you can get Word copy and PDF, whichever you want, you can download. Then whatever SOP I mentioned, this is the link. Standard operating procedure for teacher education. The data template, all the Excels, whatever I explained, all the Excel templates, editable format are available. You metric wise separate Excel, you can fill and upload in the SAR. Then extended profile, some extended templates also there. In this you can download supporting templates for the criteria. Then last one, student satisfaction survey. So the questionnaire or guidelines are given in this document. You can refer all these are the resources related to teachers education. Okay, these are all my contact details. In future, any doubts, any queries, any suggestions, you can contact at any time. Feel free to contact. So with this, my part is over. Now it is open for your queries.
Yeah, now I connected to my headphones. You can speak out.
Okay, thank you, Madan Mohan sir.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Madana sir. That was really a very good presentation. Such an excellent, in very in a detailed manner, you have explained everything. And that was a very great presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
I will share, madam. I will share this PPT. You can share to your participants. No problem. Yes, thank you.
Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am. There is one query.
Pardon?
Ma'am, I want to ask one question from the resource person.
Yeah, madam. You can ask, madam.
Sir, in the initial of your lecture, you stated about the assessment of the entry behavior of the students.
Yeah.
Sir, we are taking entrance for B.Ed students. That is a centralized test.
Okay.
The three all universities of sir, is that to be considered? Can that be considered equivalent to the entry behavior test?
Okay, madam. That depends on the university. So if it is convener quota, maybe common test we have to consider. If it is management, what is the criteria? So that depends on the university, state to state, that varies, madam. That you can claim. No problem.
But in Punjab, sir, it is centralized and it is similar for all the universities, and all the colleges are the participants of that centralized admission process.
Yeah, you can adapt same, no problem. Then after joining at your institution, so are the activities you are implementing. That is the thing you have to focus.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
One more question, sir.
Yeah, madam.
Yeah, it is regarding the sanctioned post, sir. In self-financed colleges, no post is sanctioned or covered by the government concerned.
Okay.
So how to put the claim for the teachers who are working on regular basis in a particular self-financed college, sir?
Madam, if government is not providing as per the norms, university or UG is having some norms. This is the ratio like 1:15, 1:12. As per that, you can prepare one sanction letter through the governing body. that can be approved in the institute governing council or governing body, that we can showcase. That officially that is accepted. For our institute also we provided the same.
Right, so
Yeah.
we have approval letters from the affiliating university, and we have uploaded the norms of NCT as well as the
Yeah, yeah.
affiliating university. Would that work?
Yes, madam. They have mentioned these are all the numbers required like that. By claiming
Thank
that,
you.
okay.
Thank you. Over to
Thank you
Balambika,
so
ma'am.
much. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, madam.
Yes. In the 2.24, you have told about the mentoring system, sir. In that, only the full-time teachers can do that mentoring system. You have told. Ours is a grant-in-aid college, sir. We are 8 members are the in grant-in-aid, sir, and other 8 members are working as a full-time teacher, sir. Whether we can distribute for them also for the mentoring system or not, sir.
Madam, here they clearly mention full-time means 90% is of workload engagement. Only
Okay,
that
sir.
factor you need to consider.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a detailed deliberation of criteria 2. I think in SSR out of 7, this is the only criteria which is having a maximum number, that is
360 highest weightage.
360 marks. So we are privileged that you have given us such a detailed deliberation. Thank you so much, sir, providing us your valuable time. Now I request Dr. Wenzel Cyril to vote of thanks. Dr. Wenzels.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening, Anandal
Thank
present
you,
here.
sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Anandal. The
Good
assessment
evening, sir.
by NAC. Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Yes,
you're
sir.
audible.
Yes,
You're
sir.
audible.
Yes. The assessment by NAC takes a holistic view of all the inputs, processes, and outcomes of an institution.
Fine, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for availing your valuable time. Over to Valambika, ma'am.
Sushila, ma'am, it would be nice if you close the session by playing the national anthem.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think there is connectivity problem. Therefore, I think Valambika ma'am is not able to connect with us. So at the last, but not the least, let's conclude this assembly by singing our national anthem.
Yes.
So
Ma'am?
we should.
Yes,
sir.
Sorry,
yeah,
please.
Wences Cyril sir
National
is
anthem.
back.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir. I mean.
please.
Okay.
So let me first of all thank by giving a glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. I take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to Professor R. Madana Mogana, Information Technology, Chaitanya Bharati Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. He explained the NAC accreditation process of criteria 2, that is teaching, learning, and evaluation. He presented both quantitative and qualitative matrices with its weightage of 360 in criteria 2. His presence today in this program has immensely enhanced its importance. We are extremely grateful to you, sir, for this insightful resource talk. On behalf of PACE, we thank you, sir. Next, I thank Dr. Gangadhar, Joint Secretary, PACE. Thank you for your introducing this session, sir. I'd like to thank our Dr. Sivpal Singh, sir, National President, PACE, for his wonderful support. Thank you, sir. I express my deep gratitude to our respected Professor Dr. Devanandan, sir, National General Secretary, PACE, Principal Association, and Principal of KPPM College of Education. Your guidance to us in all of our activities ensure that we always do the right thing in the right way. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank our Dr. Dasrath Singh Chaugan, Treasurer, PACE, for his wonderful welcome address. Thank you, sir. I'm happy to express a sincere thanks to our governing body members, both national and state level in Principal Association for their support throughout this program. I would like to thank all the participants. Once again, thank you all for your cooperation and participation. Thank you, sir.
Let's conclude the session by
Yeah,
singing national anthem.
Yeah,
jointly.
I will share the national anthem now. Okay.
Okay, sir. Fine, sir.
तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे
गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे
भारत भाग्य विधाता
जय हे
जय हे जय 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 जय
Thank you everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.